morning. This is Hap May with a Legal Play.
And I'm Chelsea Elazi, Hap May's associate. So, Hap, today the question is, what is a business attorney?
Okay, let's take that on. First of all, let's talk about what it's not. A business lawyer is not a businessman. A businessman is somebody who is in the business of charging people, charging customers for services that they provide or goods they produce. Sometimes they own property. Sometimes they enter into contracts with suppliers, contracts with customers, employment contracts. Sometimes they have union contracts, sometimes just ordinary contracts. That's business. And a businessman needs guidance. Businessman, businesswoman, to be fair about that, needs some guidance and some help with regard to all of the legal ramifications it is running a business. And that starts with the formation of the business. Is it a corporation? Is it a partnership? Does it have outside investors, or is it pretty much just a sole proprietor or single entity? Do they borrow money from banks? Do they borrow money from entities other than banks in the process? All of which would require the formation documents, the corporate governance documents, deciding what kind of board of directors they want and who is on it, deciding who they're going to employ, what sort of employment arrangements they're going to have. Are they going to have a long-term contract with key employees? In which case we have to look at the actual written contract itself in the process, and then negotiate it and negotiate things like covenants not to compete. Also, suppliers. We have a contract with suppliers. We are going to produce a good. We need some sort of raw material. And then as we saw in the sort of post-COVID era, supply chain issues crop up in the process. And so it is good to have a good contract that says with a supplier, you will supply me. So when a shortage comes, he still has an obligation to pay you. May have to cut out back other customers he doesn't have a contract with, but does have with you. Same thing with customers. So sometimes we have businesses that have customers that are just almost the public. You could have a million customers buying small little items or something like that. Or it could be you have a business that has one customer, in which case the contract you have with that one customer could be very important. That one customer could be somebody else that manufactures something that uses the component part produced by this business. It also could be the government. We have maybe defense contract or something like that. In which case there is this complicated process we have to negotiate and comply with contracts with the United States government.
Okay, so what I'm hearing is that a business owner deals with lots of contracts,
Yes,
many
yes.
types of contracts.
Yes.
And a business lawyer is the person that can help create or review
create, negotiate, review, defend, or when there's a breach, try to find a reason why to justify a breach. Sometimes to negotiate a termination if it's not beneficial to both parties. Sometimes it's better just to terminate and negotiate the terms under which it's negotiated, under which the termination occurs.
Okay. Are there other things besides contracts that an employment lawyer would be able to help with?
Well, not employment necessarily, but
a
business lawyer in general. Although there are some employment relationships which kind of go beyond contracts, and the fact that there are all sorts of requirements now, particularly for those people who employ say more than 40 or 50 people, as far as requirements with the Obamacare requirements for maintaining insurance.
OSHA. That was a big thing during COVID. There were businesses that if you employed, I think, over 100 people, there were requirements for
everybody had to wear masks, had these plastic things around them and stuff like that.
And business owners weren't sure if they qualified because, well, what does it mean to employ 100 individuals? Are these like full time? Are they part time? What about my contract employees?
Right. And then we've
So-
got these new cybersecurity issues, which kind of became into fact when everybody left and went home to work and zoomed in or logged in the process with the same, whether business were compliant with all that. Not really a contract relationship. It's a government regulatory requirement.
Yeah.
And
So
liability requirement.
yeah, and so a business lawyer might help kind of read the guidance, read what's,
Right.
the proposed regulations, and kind of be listening,
Right.
to everything, reading what's being posted, and kind of trying to interpret it and see, okay, is this going to affect your business? And if so, how? And what can you be doing in the
Right.
meantime to comply?
Right. And there's all sorts of requirements, but who your customers can be. If you do internationally, if you're doing business with Russians, there's you can't do that now in some cases, not necessarily with Russia, with their certain restrictions you have with dealing with businesses in Russia or government agencies in Russia. There are some with China now. I suspect we will have that. That's a changing world, which may be that. On the employment front, sexual harassment suits or other types of discrimination are something that a lawyer's got to be involved with. Got to make sure the business environment, which is something broader than when I first became a lawyer, more than 30 years ago. The things that constitute workplace harassment or sexual harassment, are bigger, and there's more focus on it. And businesses have to be aware and put things into place. And they could be a difficult landscape. It is getting harder and harder to be a businessman
Or
woman, yes, be
business person, a business person.
In the process. And thus it's a greater need for lawyers and other professionals to help guide you through the process of being in business.
Sounds like there's quite a bit for a business lawyer to do and help with.
Yes, there is. And hopefully smart, hardworking business people with the right advisors, the right attorneys, the right accountants can still find a way in this complicated world to make a good living, employ people, and produce something that is valuable for society.
Be successful.
This is Hap May with Legal Play.
Thank you, Hap.